Hello everyone, SirMonkeySuit, I was happy here back again with Hunter x Hunter 1 episode 118, and in the last episode we had probably the most important part of that episode was the fact that Knuckle could have really taken shoot and stood on the sidelines and things would have been fine. Because of the way that Youpi was, like, his priorities lie with protecting the king, and because he doesn't know where the fuck the king is, and he's not, like, Neferpito and Shia aren't responding, so he was kind of just going to just wander around not knowing what to do. He'd just been, like, stuck in his own head, like, thinking about what the fuck's going on. He more than likely just wouldn't have moved from that spot or go, you know what I mean? So, and he couldn't have access to where Morel and Shia were. I guess without, bringing down the whole fucking tower, which he nearly did. And then, the king's fucking way off, he's not getting there. I suppose he could have access to Neferpito and Gon and stuff, but at the end of the day, it didn't matter anyway, because Knuckle and Shoot decided to kind of go off track, off the mission priority, for the sake of their own pride. And there's something admirable within it, but fucking hell, for the sake of the world, it's more important than the world. Come on, it's not bad. Anyway, Mello found Killua, and Killua, Mello's bringing Killua back to help with Youpi anyway. And Killua says that he can finish it off in one blow, which I'm fully expecting to happen. Cheeto died, Silva killed him with one hit. You know what I mean? So that's him gone. That's pretty much it. Youpi's obviously been transformed into just an expansive mass because he's just getting that stressed, which makes him self-destruct. I was like self-explode. What's that? I suppose it's the same thing in a way, but he just goes back obviously to his original form after expanding and exploding. But it's an ability that you can obviously do all the time, or you can just keep repetitively doing it. But yeah, Knuckle found out that's the perfect time to attack when he's charging up. Question is, can he get back out of the blast radius once he's done that damage? I'm not sure. I'm really not. He just got it out by the skin of his teeth like last time, and that was without going into fight. Like, he just immediately escaped. So we'll see. But yeah, there's nothing else to really talk about. So we're just going to get an episode 118 and see what we get. So without further ado, let's go. Okay, episode 118. Fucking Killua covered in clutch, man. I knew it. What did I say? I said it. I said it last episode that if there was any point that he would come in, would be when, like, Knuckle is about to, be on the end of something bad. I knew it. Because, story-wise it made sense, and the ability of, Killua being able to, just come out of nowhere was perfect. So it was just the perfect time, to introduce him back into the fray, But Jesus, it would just stand at the top of there, just looking down on him like he's fucking nothing, like a royal guard, man. And Killua's just like, oh fucking hell. The thing is as well is that anytime Killua is in this when he's in this mode, I trust him 100% to get the job done, right? There is no doubt ever enters my mind in Killua dispatching this guy. And even with the use of Mello as well, because he's an assassin, Mello's God's accomplice with Killua is the most deadly combination, and Killua isn't even opting to use that to finish him off when he could easily do it. He's wanting to do it face to face. God's sake. I mean, it was scary there at the end, when that whole thing's going down, because I'm like, fucking hell, he's talking a bit, isn't he? It just, Knuckles' speech just keeps going and going. It's it's a perfect thing, because it is that whole thing of time slowing down, and I was like, oh shit, he's getting an inkling, an instinctual feeling to back off. But he was in the middle of a fucking jump. You can't, it was what happened earlier on. Was it earlier on this episode? Or was it last episode? Where he was dodging it was last episode, wasn't it? When he jumped out of the building. And he would when you're in mid-air in free fall, there's nothing to push off of. So to dodge anything's pretty much impossible. So yeah, he wasn't going to be able to move out of the way of that. But I just figured it like there was no better time for Killua to come in than at that point. You know, I was talking like on a whole point about it last episode in the post discussion. So it just had to be there. You know, I can imagine if I'd never like if for some reason that never entered my mind, I would have been scared for, you know. To be honest, what I think possibly would have been the better way to write these last couple of episodes actually would have been to the only time we saw Mello and Killua together, like obviously last episode, if they hadn't have included the part where they were kind of going through the plan and stuff, I think it would have been better if they'd only shown the scene where Mello puts his hand on Killua's shoulder and like smiles at him. I think if they'd just had that scene and not included the other one, then I feel like that would have been better, because I feel like it wasn't that hard to like pick up on the fact that Killua at some point, obviously, like, they were going after Youpi. Like, they explained that that's what they were going to do in that one scene. If they just hadn't have had that scene, I think it would have worked better, and a lot of more people would have been scared for Knuckles' life there, because I feel like it wasn't all that hard to get to feel like, oh well, Killua's just going to come in here and save the day. So, and you know, I'm sure I definitely wasn't the only one. Other people would have as well. So I feel like, you know, I never really have anything to say about the writing of this show, and even though, you know, they had that scene in there, like, I still don't think, you know, it's bad anyway. But I feel like if it was to make like that sort of that whole scene better, would have been to not have them sort of tee up the idea that Killua was going to come in and save the day. You know, with just having Mello there, it would have made more sense, I think. So yeah, I mean that's just me though. But yeah, what do you guys think? So yeah, we'll go back at the to the very beginning of the episode where I mentioned in the reaction, yeah, the use of, like, obviously, you know, they are doing the whole like previously thing, you know, so they do like a bunch of scenes of what happened in the last episode, and I love the use of that of the I don't know what, like, is it an Asian instrument that they're using there? Because I don't know what, like, it's like a wind instrument, right, that they are using in that one like OST that they have, that one song, and I love like how different the tone changes with that song by just having that one wind instrument and not having the, like, you know, like the sort of like the thumping bass and whatnot in like the background and like the drums and stuff, like to make it more like of a, like, we're getting prepared to sort of fight and go at it, and like more of like a pump up song, and it turns into a more like melancholic sort of like, you know, like bond between brothers, especially at that point, right? But with Knuckle and Shoot, you know what I mean? Because that's like the song that I associate with like, I suppose more with Knuckle, but I feel like as an extension, Shoot as well. So to have that, like, just that one instrument there, I felt like was really fucking, like, it worked perfectly. And I really liked it. I mean, like I said a couple of episodes ago, that I feel like, you know, the addition of audio is such a crucial part, man, for like, you know, the animation, live action stuff, anything like that. The having really, really good like audio across the board just really sells it for me. So yeah, it was really cool. Yeah, Youpi end up figuring out Knuckles' plan, which I'm actually surprised at. Because if you remember, like, a few episodes back, like, you know, they'd obviously, like, the idea that they, like, the narrator was, like, obviously throwing out some information on Youpi and stuff, and that, like, he doesn't have really any human in him, he's just, like, all beast. So I thought that there wasn't really much intelligence there at all, and that would, you know, be at the behest of him and the advantage of, like, you know, Knuckle and Shoot being able to sort of, like, you know, mess with him mentally and catch him off guard that way. But he was able to figure it out, which is very surprising. I mean, I don't know where he really got it from, because I don't think there was anything that gave that, like, away. I mean, I can imagine, like, some human being able to figure out that at this point, oh yeah, like, I'm free to be attacked when I'm charging up. But I wouldn't have thought that Youpi was, you know, able to figure that out. But I mean, he did, and it would have worked if Killua hadn't have came in and saved the day. The one thing I cannot get over in this episode is what Shaia's doing. That's crazy. That's nuts. Like every so often, like throughout the episode while watching it, like, you know, it would pop into my head again. It's like, oh yeah, that happened, and I'm just like, what? it's God. He's just transporting himself through the air via millions of like just tiny fucking molecules, trillions. It's like teleportation over like a course of a very long time. Oh man, the thing is though, is like, when is Morel like? Oh, his whole point, like, the whole plan is to keep him in there. That's the whole point of the Smoky Jail, to keep him in there. And the thing is that when is Morel going to even find out? Because, like, once he's transported himself out there, does the cocoon stay? And what's going to happen? Like, where's he going to go? Like, I have the same questions as I do with like I did with Youpi last episode, where I figured that, like, you know, when Knuckle was saying that, oh, we don't really have to do anything because, you know, Youpi's got a different priority and he doesn't know what to do. I was like, well, what would Youpi do? Like, he could go find Neferpitou, I guess. But then it's just like, I don't know what Shaia does. I mean, I guess he would go where Neferpitou is because he wants to fucking finish off Komugi and stuff, and that would be interesting. Actually, that would be really interesting. Actually, yeah, I think that will happen. I think Shai will go to where Komugi is, Neferpitou and Gon will be there, and it's going to be interesting to see how Neferpitou and that responds to that, because she's been given a mission here, and you know, she was willing to sort of, like, you know, she was begging for her life to be saved so that she could go through with saving Komugi. And if Shia comes in, that's going to be an interesting thing, because them battling against each other, like, you know. But it might be interesting to see if, like, because Neferpitou can't do anything, if there becomes like an ultimatum thing. I'm not sure if Neferpitou would really go to Gon, like, you better, like, you know, you better help me deal with Shia, otherwise, like, I'm not helping you, kind of thing, you know. I'm not sure if that's how it would go, but it would be interesting to see if, like, Gon was to come up with that on his own and feel like, because I feel like it would be a case of, wait a minute, if Shia goes and kills Komugi, then I've lost my, you know, my thing for, like, getting Kite back, right? So it would be interesting to see Gon just, like, think of that of himself and, like, become the bodyguard for Neferpitou for like, you know, this, like, for a moment. That would be crazy. I almost feel like that's what's going to happen, because I don't know where else Shia really goes. Like, Shia's on a one-track sort of mission right now, and that's the only thing he cares about. So I don't think he's going to go help with, like, Youpi or anything like that. He doesn't know where the king is, and yeah, I think he's just heading to where they are. So yeah, I'll be interesting to see what happens with that. But yeah, him transporting himself, like, via individual molecules, it's great. I love it, because it's like the only reason why he would be able to get out of there, and he has it. You know. Oh man. At some point, it's just going to, like, the cautiousness of Morel is really sort of backfiring here, because he's being too cautious, just letting shit happen and just waiting, you know, when in reality he should be fucking attacking that thing. Of course, he doesn't know what's going on, and yeah, I guess you have to be cautious because you don't know the ins and outs, you know. It's kind of like what Killua was, you know, like what he was like before, where he would be so cautious to the point, like, where if he didn't know the information going in, he wouldn't go attack, kind of thing, you know. So it's kind of very similar to that regard. So yeah, with a Calgo, there was a Nen message that Parmid had written down, which, yeah, I love the idea of that. That's great. Because, yeah, like, why would the likes of Bizef even see that or even know about that? Or why would anyone down there, for any reason, think about using Gyo, you know. And so obviously the women and everything like that can't. So that's really cool. First time we've seen anything like that as well. But yeah, that was really cool. But the message that was there was like put there before Palm had left. So it was, you know, it basically didn't help any situation. There's no way she's in the palace. Like there's no way she's up there. Like after everything that's gone on, there's no way that we have not like seen anything from her. But it just says, assume I am dead. I don't know. I don't like the idea of, like, nothing, like, becoming of that and just being, like, where is she kind of thing. Through the reaction, actually, I was trying to think in my head, was there a secondary mission that Knov had with Palm that we weren't privy to? That we didn't get the information on? Like, because... obviously with Knov, if you recall, back before the mission had started and we saw Knov, and he was in the room, white hair and stuff, we saw for the first time, and he was talking about everything. I was thinking, like, Knov is so, like, out of it right now, like, he's so, like, almost gone, that I worry that he would, like, affect the plan somehow by going in to save Palm himself or something like that. Something, like, in that regard. But then I was like, well... surely that can't be, like... They can't have had a secondary plan between them beforehand, because Knov was fine before he went in, and that was the last time they saw each other, right? Because she went in as Knov came out, and they never spotted each other. Like, they never went and talked to each other before that, so they couldn't have come up with a plan that far back, unless... I guess they could have, but I don't know why Knov at that point would have. I feel like he only lost it after he went in himself, and he came back out and he was freaking out and shit. The only thing I can imagine is that Knov went in himself and we just haven't seen Knov. But because theoretically, Knov would be able to come out as separate entrants, right? There was 3. They came out the main group came out at the very end, so the central stairway. There was 2 others that were a bit further out. So, I guess he could have, because we haven't seen him since he went through the door himself, right? I guess he could have. Like, maybe Knov had thought, like... I mean, I know he was fucked up, and the last thing he would have wanted to do was go back there. But I recall, like, that scene where Morel was like... you know, like, this is it for you. Like, you've done your part of the job. You're not coming in and stuff. And Nova's like... like, this wasn't the exact quote, but, like, basically I'm paraphrasing. It was, like, something like, have you seen the state of me? Of course I'm not going back there. You know? But... there was just this thing with, like, with Palm, and the way that he said it as well. Like, the way he delivered that quote. Where it was like... that's the last place I'd want to be, kind of thing. And, like, I think it was, like, something like his glasses had, like, shone over, and it does that thing where, like, it just, like, becomes a light. Like, the lenses just become lights, and he can't, you know? So, like, the eyes are behind. And, like, generally that kind of thing happens when you don't know what the character's kind of thinking. And there's, like, something more there than you would previously have thought. I just think... I'm just trying to think of every possible reason, like, where the fuck would Palm be? There's, like, I refuse to believe that she's out there on her own within the palace. Fuck's sake. Oh, God, my mind is garbage right now. It's melting away. I just don't think that she's within the palace on her own. I could understand if she went back underground. To, like, because she was, like, cowering in fear because of the aura, right? Something similar to Knov. But I mean, I guess Ikalgo is technically still down there. I don't know what's, like, why they would write it, though, that he would go to where the other girls were and they, like, she wasn't there, and then all of a sudden she just turns up. But all I'm thinking is there has to be some reason as to how Ikalgo can get back up. because he can't without the code, right? And I don't think Bravado knows the code, right? I don't know. Maybe he does. Yeah, because they did get their own codes, right? So it has to be a thing of... Ikalgo needs to get in there. Because... I mean, where's Bizef at this time? Like, where the fuck's he gone? I can't remember. I think... I'm sure he came back down here, right? I don't know. Alright, I'm just going to throw out that theory then, that Knov, when he exited the room, he went out a different portal. Because I'm just thinking, like, if there was any opportunity for Knov to go in and save Palm, it would have been at that point, when all the attention is actually on the group. You know, they are facing off against the Royal Guards, meaning that Knov, his best chance of getting in there and saving Palm would be to get in there while they are facing off against each other. But then, obviously, they never thought about the whole dragon dive thing either, so they would have had to have avoided that. Yeah, I'll just throw out that theory just in case it comes true. That Knov went in a different, and he came out like a further away portal, you know, and yeah, we'll see what happens. But yeah, I mean that's all I've got. I mean, I fuck say the bloody cliffhangers, man. Ugh. I don't know what's worse, like hearing the music come in and knowing it's the end, or it just hitting right, like, you know, like a ton of bricks. I don't know what's worse. Because Killua was walking down here, and he was, you know, he's walking down the sort of crater thing, and just the end music started playing. It's like, you fuck, you bastard. But they've got to give you a reason to watch the next episode, don't they? So I guess that's that. But yeah, that's all I've got. So thank you for watching. In the description below, I have links to certain things. One of them is the Discord, so you can get over there if you wish. And I also have a Patreon page as well. So if you do want to support me, that'd be very much appreciated. I am trying to get back to doing this full time again, so I can get more content and more, you know, do this more frequently out for you guys. So if you do want to support me, yeah, that'd be very much appreciated. There is a bunch of different tiers and rewards on there, depending on how much you want to support me with. So there's the early access tier, $5 a month. That gives you access to shows a week early, and you get 4 episodes of Hunter x Hunter every week. That's 2 on Monday and 2 on Friday, as opposed to the general public that only get access to 2 episodes a week. That's just 2 on Monday. So by the time this episode goes out for the general public, you'll be able to become an early access tier patron and have access to the rest of the show and reactions. Because, you know, at this point, we've got like what it feels like 30 something episodes left, so it's not that God, it's not that much left. Oh god. So yeah, if you can binge watch like the rest of the show within a month, then it's only going to cost you $5 for the rest of the reactions. So it's a pretty good deal. There's also $10 for full length there. That doesn't matter for this show because it's full length anyway. But for other shows, you will need that. And then there are other tiers where you can pay to have me react to a show. So if you want me to react to a certain show, then go have a look at those tiers and see what they offer. But that is all I've got. So thank you for watching. I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.